Hey everyone, welcome to day one of our Capstone Symposium. My name is Aria Yang, and the title of my presentation is Understanding the Past to Save Our Future, a case study of stellar sea lion management. For my capstone project, I wanted to examine the issue of conservation management and biodiversity loss. As some of you may know, biodiversity loss is a global threat, with many ecologists arguing we are currently in a sixth extinction. Wildlife conservation is one solution to tackling this wicked problem, but despite efforts, there are currently over 1,300 species listed under the Endangered Species Act as either threatened or endangered. Because of this, I wanted to assess how conservation management efforts could become more effective, using the stellar sea lion as a case study. My primary research question was, what conclusions can be drawn from the Western stellar sea lion about the efficacy of current conservation management efforts? The methodology used for this project included an internship and individual research. For my internship, I had the opportunity to work with the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, commonly known as NOAA. My everyday tasks were to provide quality assessment and quality control for AI detections of stellar sea lion images. The first picture here shows what an image typically looks like before an AI makes detections. Feel free to put in the chat how many sea lions you can detect. For my individual research, I conducted a semi-systematic literature review, which consisted of gathering and assessing over 40 sources related to stellar sea lion policy and management. From there, I developed a summary of the most relevant articles and constructed a thematic analysis. Additionally, I gathered data from NOAA on stellar sea lion population count over the years and on key management acts. So to discuss the actual case study, the stellar sea lion population has been a conservation concern since the mid to late 70s. While the whole population was listed as endangered in 1990, researchers actually found distinct genetic and morphological differences in the population. So they were divided into the eastern and western population. Though the eastern population was delisted from the Endangered Species Act, the western population has stayed at an endangered level. Lots of funding has been allocated toward this issue. Over $120 million were devoted to conservation research and management. Yet scientists are still not sure of what is preventing the Western population from significant recovery. Down below, I've constructed a graph displaying the stellar sea lion population for the Aleutian Islands and the Gulf of Alaska over the past 30 years, while overlaying a timeline of some important management effects. As you can see, in 1990, the stellar sea lion population was listed under the ESA. 2 years later, a preliminary recovery plan was created, which was later revised in 2008. Over the years, there have been many biological opinions released, known as BIOPs, and they are released by a regulatory agency, which ensures that a proposed action will not reduce the likelihood of survival and recovery of the species listed under the ESA. In this case, multiple BIOPs were released by NOAA and often assess the relationship between fisheries management and the stellar sea lion population. From my case study assessment and through anecdotal evidence from experts in this field, I determined that there are three potential solutions to increasing the efficacy of stellar sea lion management, which consisted of improving collaboration and communication between research and management agencies, establishing a consensus on which research questions should take priority, and depoliticizing funding and research efforts towards stellar sea lion conservation. Overall, the stellar sea lion case is a representative of the wicked environmental conflicts that many endangered species face. This includes cases that are also highly politicized, such as the reintroduction of gray wolves into Yellowstone, which is pictured on the right, as well as cases where there are multiple potential causes to population decline and a large amount of scientific uncertainty, as with the North Atlantic right whale, which is pictured on the left. Finally, I devised some next steps for future conservation efforts. And the first being to organize interagency task forces, the second being to develop events focusing on building scientific consensus, such as workshops or conferences, and lastly, to focus a portion of conservation research towards understanding the influence of politics on conservation funding and management. Thank you so much for joining in. I'd love to give a huge shout out to my site supervisors, Berlin and Katie, my faculty advisor, Chris, and all of my family and friends for their constant support. This could not have been done without them. Thank you so much.